pretty simple fly, and it's to imitate the Hex Nymph. And the nymph, I should have brought some pictures of them, but the nymphs are big. They're about 1 1/8 long. They're about 1/4 inch wide. They're kind of a medium brown with dark on top of them, and they got a set of gills on their body that stick up like this on the back half on their abdomen. And so anyway, the fly we tied is like this guy right here, which is uses a rabbit strip in the back and a little foam for the thorax with some yarn for the body. Now George, I know, is dubs, but I'm too lazy for that, so I just got plain old cheap yarn you can get by the ton at the fabric store, and use that for the body. The hook I'm using, I don't know one hook from another, so I got to read the labels. But I use this one here that I was using this time is a 2457, which is a kind of a nymph hook in a size 6. The thing about these animals is that they swim through the water with an up and down motion, not side to side like damsel nymphs and stuff like that. And so I wanted some flexibility in the back half, back behind the thorax. That's why we did this, and I think George is doing the same thing. We tied a fairly short hook. The hook I'm using is this character.
Does this work better than your previous?
You need foam for the body. Looks like yay. And like I say, it's pretty simple. Yeah, actually, we did a little bit of Mitch captured one last time. We put it in a little aquarium back at camp and watched them for a while. And when they swim, we found out when they stop, they stick their legs out. They got very heavy legs. They're as big as a grasshopper's legs. But when they swim, they put their legs up in the front and in the back, and they turn into a pretty streamlined shape. So if you're trying to imitate one moving, you don't want any legs. If they stop, you want legs, because when they stop, they stick their legs out. And then, like I say, the gills go down the body, and they kind of ripple on, and they don't stick out the side. They stick pretty much straight up. And strip and paws, yeah. Ask those guys, they did great. Anyway, so what I do with these guys is, if I can remember how I even tie it. I didn't have the right thread, so I'm using 8/0, but I normally don't tie it on 8. But anyway, I just start on the front, wrap my way back.
What size hook?
Pardon?
What size hook?
This is a 6. You're using what size? An 8. Yeah. So what I do is I take a really short piece of rabbit bunny fur here, cut it off maybe 1/2 inch long or so, and it probably doesn't make any difference at all. Maybe you can see it on here. I cut a taper to the tip of it, but you know, like I say, probably has no bearing on things. So you take this character, set it up on top of the hook. I fold it around there so I can get it pretty centered. Strip it down, just a few wraps down like that. I've already got some pre-cut stuff, so if anybody here wants to try it, I take this, take a piece of foam, and I put a little taper on the end of it so when I tie it in, it's not quite so bulky. Tie this guy down. Like I say, I'm trying to remember the order of this thing. If you tie down real tight, this foam really collapses. And then I take a strand of this really high-end yarn. And this stuff, like I say, it's just a skinny yarn I got from the...
How about your foam? That too?
You dub yours, right, George? Yeah. See, real fly tiers dub, but the rest of us, we just use whatever laying around.
Question is, the foam. They're going to hear me, man.
So I tie that guy down. Yeah.
Question, the foam.
2mm foam. Craft foam.
Craft foam. Michael's. I'm still putting legs on mine, so I'm not sure if that's, you know, because they're pretty flexible. I'm not real sure what happens when I pull it through the water. But you only need a real short amount of leg. So I take a half of one of these guys here, cut that in half, so you got about an inch long leg.
I said scarf, they can't. I found
So after I wrapped about 2/3 of the way back to the eye, and on mine, instead of dubbing, I just take this stuff here and build it up.
There you go.
Like I say, I haven't tied this thing for a year, so I can't remember how to tie it. I'm working on it.
We probably need them now.
Well, I had a bunch of them that I used at Almanor, so I tie that guy off.
I mean, to replace the ones.
I didn't lose any.
Oh.
I didn't lose a fly. So anyway, to tie these type of legs on, I don't know how everybody else does it, but what I do is I take and I fold the leg over the line like that, and bring it right up like that. Pulls it on there, so you don't have to mess around trying to center the stupid thing.
Does gum band work, Ed?
Pardon?
Wood. Gum band?
Yeah, you can put rubber band.
Just wait, his eyes will roll back.
Sexy.
From a golf way.
Two ways to tie spies.
It's a Scottish.
Everyone's got to be beautiful.
Same thing on this guy on the other side. So what you end up with on this one, by tying it like this, you end up with these two sets of legs. This is all predicated on the fact that fish can't count, since there's only 4 legs here and not 6. Then I just wrap in front here.
Fish see
Rubber legs, right?
Rubber leg, yeah, I think their silly legs are one of those guys. And if your legs need to be positioned a little bit, you stretch them, they get skinnier, you can move them around a little bit. If you're worried about how they go. Then I just wrap in between them, pull them back, make a couple wraps in the front.
What you do is you have
I tie it off right up behind the eye because you're not going to tie a head back there on these guys. I trim that off, and then I spiral back to the center of the legs again because that's where I'm going to put the right in front of where the legs are right there. 'Cause that's where I'm going to tie this foam off. Then I just bring the foam forward, pull the legs back out of the road, stretch the foam forward a little bit, pull that guy down, pull it pretty tight. I've got 8/0 thread here, so I got to be a little careful. But a few wraps like yay to pull it in tight. Stretch it up like that. When you stretch it, this thing will snap back, kind of makes a little head out of it. Boom. That's it. Then you get Gene's favorite tying tool.
Yeah, I can do it using one hand on the one-handed tool, so there.
A few wraps right around that collar. And good to go.
Did you say you figured that one to be, figured out to be neutral buoyancy?
Yeah, if you tie it with this width I'm using right here, it comes out about neutral buoyancy. This one, if you stop stripping, if your line doesn't sink, it'll just hang. So I use a pretty long leader so the line doesn't affect the fly too bad. When I stop stripping, obviously, if you're using even an intermediate sinks, then the line's going down, you get a little bit of slack before the fly starts to follow it. Because like you said, a lot of these guys are taking it on the paws. So anyway, basically that's what these are. And then if you're really artsy-craftsy, they have these little spots on the top. You get out your favorite little thing and you make a few little jagged marks on the top. Because their gills are kind of short, I give them a little roach back here. So I pull the hair up like this.
Mohawk, like a mohawk.
Give them a mohawk.
There you go.
Throw all that hair away. Now I leave the tail in the back. That's why I cut it off too.
There you go.
And basically, that's it.